Piet Mondrian was a Dutch artist who liked to paint in an abstract style. Some of his art is famous for the use of line, rectangles, and the three primary colors. His art has inspired many artists and other things like fashion as well. Today we will create maps inspired by Mondrian. For this project, I have a pencil and a Sharpie. I also have a map that I went online and found. This is an old map, actually from 1884, of the city of La Crosse, Wisconsin. So you can find a map that is meaningful to you and where you live. I tried to make sure that the map was black and white when I printed it off. I also have colors. You could use markers, crayons. Today I'm using colored pencils. I have something circular in shape. I could use an old Cool Whip container. Actually, just the top will work perfectly for what I am doing. You could also use a compass as well. I'm going to go ahead and begin. Now, if you want to, you can start off by just kind of looking at the map and deciding what is interesting to you. So I really like how the land meets the water here along the Mississippi River. So I want to make sure that that's included in my circle. We're basically picking an area to emphasize or make more important than everything else. You can do this with a pencil first, but I'm going to go ahead and just use Sharpie so that you can see exactly what I am doing. I'm going to take my circle, put it over the most important part of the map to me, where I want to emphasize, and I'm going to trace a circle over that spot. Now you can see the area that I decided to do my focus on. I'm going to make sure my circle is nice and solid. Now I'm looking inside of my circle for some important lines, things that I really want to emphasize or show in this area. So super important, I think, would be to kind of look over where the water is. I'm going to start over there. Again, you could do this with pencil first, but I'm using Sharpie. I'm just going to trace the line on the map of where this island kind of meets up with the Mississippi River. I'm also going to do where the mainland of Wisconsin meets the Mississippi River, so the whole shoreline right down here. That's an important line. And then I also maybe want to indicate a little bit of the island to the northern part of this circle here. Just kind of do my best to go around some of these lines. Some of them are not super detailed, but I will make it work. All right, I like those. Now there's also a large river that is coming through the center part of my circle and connecting with the Mississippi River, so I wanted to trace that. Let's see, here's an important line because it's the railroad. So I'm going to go ahead and trace the railroad tracks that come down on the right side of my circle. It's just a vertical line, and just for fun, I want to indicate that they are in actuality railroad tracks. So I'm just putting the little marks there, but that's optional. I just thought it would be fun to indicate that what those are. I'm looking for other ways to divide up my circle as well. I do want to add some other elements. So there's a nice horizontal line right here that I will trace. That's a road or some type of division on this map. Also, knowing the downtown area and the way things are divided, there's another set of railroad tracks that come in through here and kind of go along the side of the water here. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of trace some of these more important lines going down, but then stopping, as you see, when I get to the edge of my circle. There are some important streets downtown that I want to emphasize. One of them is State Street. And I think it's kind of fun because I drive on State Street all the time, so I want to indicate where that is. and how that connects. And then another one, let's see, as I'm looking inside of this circle here that I could do is Cass Street. We actually used to live pretty close to Cass Street, so I'm going to go ahead and trace that line as well, just to kind of divide my circle up a little bit more. All right, I think I like that the way it's divided. I think I'm going to leave it like that. And I'm going to move on to the next element of my art project, which would be to add some color. Now, Piet Mondrian enjoyed using the primary colors along with white and black for some of his artwork. So today I'm going to focus on using the primary colors as well, which are red, yellow, and blue. I'm going to go ahead and start with blue. I'm using colored pencils, as you can see, but you could easily use crayons or markers or even paint for this as well. And I'm going to start coloring in some of these sections inside of my circle that I have made with my marker lines. And as I am doing this, I want to make sure that I am not going to make sections the same color right next to each other. So no two sections that touch each other are the same color. So I'm starting with the river. I wanted to make it blue because the water usually on a map is indicated with blue, but it doesn't really matter for this project if you make your water blue as well, if you happen to have water on your map. And as I do that, I'm also thinking of the other sections of the circle that I could do blue that don't touch this river, because I don't want my two sections to be the same color. I don't want them touching. So as I'm kind of working on this, making sure that I'm coloring nice and neat, I'm trying to think of what other areas that I would also like to color in blue. I'm adding blue up here on the top of my circle. Notice that these two sections don't touch each other. It is okay if like the corners touch, but I try not to have any sides touch. I'll jump down and do this one down here with some blue. Really being careful along my edges to make nice, neat coloring. And now I'm moving on to yellow. You can see that I have sped up my video so that you can get the idea of coloring in all of the other elements of my circle here. So I picked this larger section to do in yellow, and I'm trying to kind of plan out other ones. Now these two touch, but just in the corners, so that's okay. Now I'm also open to having some of my sections stay white. There are areas for sure where with just 3 colors it wouldn't be possible to have two sides not touching of the same color. So white can help you out by giving you like that 4th option. And then we have the black lines. So Mondrian did use black and white in his art as well. So we are going to go ahead and do that with our primary colors. Black and white are definitely options for these sections that we are coloring. Here you can see I have switched to red now and am filling in some of the sections with my red colored pencil. I'm trying to make my colors nice and bright by pushing down kind of hard with my colored pencils, getting nice vibrant colors to fill in my work here. Again, I'm really trying to make sure that I'm thinking about where I put my sections so that corners touch but no sides share a side. All right, I have colored in all that I want to color in on my map, and now I've picked some darker shades of the colors to add a little bit of shading. This is an optional step, but it can make it look a little bit fancier. So I'm using a little bit of purple just along the edges of the circle to kind of make it so it looks like the circle's popping up off of the page. And you could actually use the purple with the blue and the red if you wanted to give it some shading just around the edges of the circle. I'm going to use some purple for my blue. I'm going to use kind of a dark, like it's a brick red or burgundy for my red, just to kind of darken the edges that meet the circle. I'm going to go ahead and use more of like a golden color for my yellow. And if that's not dark enough, you could use an orange. That would work as well. Just a little bit of a darker shade next to the edges of the circle. And then for the white areas, I'm just going to use a gray, and you could even use like your pencil gray for that. I have a gray colored pencil, so it works out well for the white areas, but then it kind of separates it from the rest of the map. I hope you enjoyed this project with me, inspired by Piet Mondrian, and showing you an emphasis of this part of an old lacrosse map. Have fun with this and take care. Hope to see you again on my channel, Elke Art, soon.